Welcome back to another episode of Ask V Anything, where you can ask me anything about real estate or living in San Jose or thereabouts. Today, we're excited to have a guest on our show. His name is Robert P. Bergman, Esquire, and he is a lawyer for many, many years, and he goes back. He has a pretty amazing story. We spoke a little bit yesterday. And but the main reason why we're inviting him on today is because he is an estate planning attorney. And if you've seen any of my other videos about probate, estate planning, propositions, taxes, this all bundles into exactly why you need to have a trust. And today we're going to talk to him and ask him a few questions about what happens if you don't have a trust and you have property or an estate larger than $100,000. And yeah, so I'm really excited to have him on board. And but before that, before we enter into that, I want to tell you that next week I'm going to be giving you a pretty big announcement about our business and where we're going with that, and I'm pretty excited about it. And I'll just leave it at that. So I'll make you want to tune into next week's Ask Me Anything. Yeah, pretty excited. And there's a lot of reasons behind why I'm doing this. And yeah. All right. Well, so without further ado, let me introduce you to Robert P. Bergman, attorney at law. And you can actually get a hold of Robert or Mr. Bergman at 408-274-0444, or his website is lawbob, LAWBOB.com. And there you'll find a library full of things, of information of why you need to have a trust if you own a property. All right, here we go. You ready to go?
Deal with death and dying as part of what I do as an attorney.
Right.
It's what I talk about regularly with people, and I'm candid with them about it. And I have intellectually understood for pretty much my whole life that I'm going to die someday. That's been an intellectual thing. And, then losing my father, then losing my mother, losing other elderly relatives, passing away one after another. Pretty much that generation is gone now. But watching my girls play, suddenly I had the drop from the head knowledge to the emotional knowledge.
Right.
I was going to die one day. And I'm looking at my girls and I'm going, crap, one of these days I'm going to literally be gone and they won't have their dad anymore. And it was one of the worst days of my life. I had that epiphany and I felt like crap. And I went to bed that night and it was like, crap, you're going to die, Bob. And the next morning, though, I woke up and the sun came up and the birds were warbling and everything. And I realized, you know what, Bob, you're going to die someday. And you can't change that. But what you can change is your lifestyle. And so I went cold turkey like you did.
Yeah.
I mean, no more candy, no more cookies, no more pies, no more cakes. I started exercising more. I just watched what I was eating. I cut stuff out of my diet completely. In 6 months' time, I dropped 40 pounds.
That's crazy. Isn't that amazing? Think about 40 pounds. That's like, when you don't think about it, you're like, oh, that's a lot of weight. And then you're like, how many?
I got rid of a toddler I was carrying around.
Right.
That's really what it was.
That's like, how many bowling balls is that? That's 5 bowling balls. That's a lot of weight.
It's a lot of weight.
For your heart.
And the thing was, at the time, I was using a CPAP. because I had a severe apnea diagnosis, which was, in retrospect, was largely due to being overweight. So I dropped like 40 pounds in 6 months. I went down from a 42 waist to a 40.
Right.
And my coat size went down. My shirts went from XL to L. And all of a sudden, shirts I hadn't worn for 20 years, I could wear again. Pants I hadn't worn for 20 years, I could wear again.
But they're not in style, so.
Oh, well, you know, I'm talking about like blue jeans and stuff like
Right.
that are, you know, timeless. But but then since that time, where am I now? I was at like 235. 235. I got down to 195. Right now I'm at 188 because I was at about 183, 184, and I've gone up a few pounds during this pandemic, even though I'm not eating like everything in sight. Just the sedentary nature of the pandemic is kind of affecting that. I'm not getting as much exercise as I'm used to. But still, I still look at that and I'm now like 45, 46 pounds less than I was at my height.
That's great.
I'm down to a 38 waist.
My
and I'm going to head for 36. If I can get to a 36 waist and get down to 180 or something like that, I'm within 10 pounds of my fighting weight out of high school.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, but I look at like the pictures of my high school friends on Facebook, and like the guys who are like the jocks and everything, and they're 300 pounds and they're obese, and it's like I go, damn, I've aged pretty damn well.
Yeah.
There are people that see me and they go, Bob, you really haven't changed from high school. I said, well, you know, if you saw me 4 or 5 years ago, you might say differently, but now, yeah, I'm just an older, grayer version of myself, and I'll take it. I'll take it. Are you recognizable?
You know, the funny thing is, I think we spoke about it yesterday. I went to a 50th birthday party.
Yeah, birthday party, yeah.
Instead of our 30th reunion because we missed it, and it was at the Brit in Cupertino, and people came up to me and recognized me. And the funny thing is, you know, I recognize probably 5% of the people there.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know you. What's your name? And we caught along, but there are like a lot of people there that I just did not recognize, which is
that really, really changed.
Yeah.
That put on 100 pounds.
Yep.
And were unrecognizable. But yet I know that from my high school, there are women from my school, because even though I went to St. Francis, I was there the year that they went co-educational. When all the young ladies from Holy Cross High School, they closed Holy Cross and consolidated with St. Francis. So, but there are women from there that look virtually exactly the same at 64 and 65 years of age as they did when they were 17.
Yep.
Just older versions of themselves. But you know, crap, some of them, like, they still have the same figure. They could still wear the same clothes.
Mm-hmm.
They're instantly recognizable, and they're just as beautiful at 64 and 65 as they were when they were 17. It's just now it's a mature beauty.
Yep.
It's astonishing to me. One in particular I remember, who is, you know, very petite and everything. She's had 4 kids, and yet, you know, after every kid, she got back to her original size. It's like, that's virtually impossible for women, but she looks exactly the same as high school. She's had 4 kids. I'm astonished by that. Some people, it must be genetic. I know that I have good genetic background, because people meet me, clients meet me, and we chat and everything. And I regularly have people thinking I'm at least 10 years younger than my actual age. And when they find out, they go, you know, like, get out, you know, or you're kidding. And it's like, no, No, I'm actually not 53.
I was going to ask,
I'm,
you know, even in your picture, you look like you're 55, 53, 55-ish.
yeah, I'm turning 65 this year in August.
Good for you.
Yeah, I have to apply for Medicare about a month from now, or start.
Do me a favor real quick, take 2 seconds and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Also hit the like, the little thumbs up, and the little bell so you'll be notified of upcoming videos.